Waldo Canyon, Black Forest, and the latest, the Marshall Fire in Boulder County. All stark reminders of how critical fire insurance is for your home.
But here's something many don't know until it's too late. They could be underinsured for disaster.
Tonight, KRDO News Channel 13's Mallory Anderson has a warning from a victim of Colorado's most devastating wildfire in history and looks into what you need to know about your coverage.
A singed Bible tucked inside a mailbox, a single house left standing on a block, and a hopeful sign promising to rebuild. These are some of the only things remaining in this Louisville, Colorado neighborhood after the Marshall Fire tore through 1,000 Boulder County homes in December.
It's pretty unrecognizable. This is like something you see on the news, but not in your neighborhood.
Trevor Ackerman's two-story purple house used to sit on this lot, but now it's a pile of rubble.
This is what's left of it.
He says on December 30th, his family fully planned on returning to their house when they left before evacuation orders had even been issued.
When we turned out of our neighborhood, we could see that the Arboretum was on fire. And that was when we said, oh my God, this is extremely much more serious, much closer than we had realized.
Little did Trevor know the devastation of losing his house was only the beginning of his problems. He spotted serious issues with his insurance coverage in the days following the Marshall Fire.
At first, having this notion of like, well, we have home insurance, so that's good. You know, we'll be able to rebuild. And then as a few days go by, learning it's like, oh, we're underinsured.
Underinsured, meaning his insurance policy won't cover the full cost to rebuild his home. Trevor and some of his neighbors learned they were short hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I think that uncertainty for me personally was worse than my house actually burning down. Probably about the second week of March hit a really low point. I had a week where every day I woke up and cried.
Trevor isn't alone. In April, the Division of Insurance released an analysis of underinsured homes affected by the Marshall Fire. Of the 951 total loss claims analyzed, only 76 homes had guaranteed replacement coverage, meaning they were fully insured. John Putnam is an insurance consultant in Colorado Springs. He was the go-to insurance guy for victims of the 2012 Waldo Canyon fire after being appointed to the fire recovery group Colorado Springs Together. He says one crucial decision that often leads to underinsurance is a desire to cut down your bill.
People buy price and they don't buy protection. So I don't know what happened in that transaction, that buying transaction, but in many instances, the agent and the insured are on one wavelength, and that is to save money. That's probably not the right wavelength in the current environment in Colorado.
Other major factors affecting the rebuild process: the current inflation, the rising cost of building materials, home prices in Colorado skyrocketing in the last 5 years, and building codes that are set by individual communities.
The Mountain Shadows neighborhood where we are now was decimated by the Waldo Canyon fire back in 2012. While the rebuilding process wasn't perfect, John Putnam does tell me that homeowners here dealt with a lot less underinsurance issues compared to those with the Marshall Fire. There are things you can do right now to avoid the anxiety that comes with being underinsured if you lose your home in a fire. The first, don't buy your insurance and then forget about it. Checking in with your agent every 1 to 3 years ensures that you are covered adequately, and any recent updates you've made to your home are included in that coverage. Second, ask your agent to justify how they came up with your replacement values, and then talk to local builders for an estimate on what it would cost per square foot to rebuild.
Two other coverages that are absolutely critical. You can increase the extended replacement from 20% to sometimes as much as 50% here in this state. I would be looking to buy that because it just gives you another little cushion. And then the last thing is additional living expense. It's another coverage in the policy that's automatic. Historically was only 1 year. Well, how long is it going to take Marshall to rebuild? At this point in time, we think it could take at least 2, maybe 3.
There was still smoke rising from different places.
Alan Halpern also lost his home in the Marshall Fire. He says many people don't realize how time-consuming it is to have to try and remember every single item that was in your house, which insurance companies will make you itemize to receive money.
Periodically go through your house with your cell phone, take pictures, insides of drawers, insides of closets, the stuff that you know you're never going to remember. If there are items that are really important to you, make sure you photograph them and get those photographs uploaded to the cloud, and then they're there.
Trevor also says when his home is rebuilt, he's looking to add a line item to his new insurance that will increase the coverage when there's a total loss in the context of a disaster.
Not only, do we have to rebuild our house, 1,000 other people have to, and there's only so many hands and so many materials to put together, and that really can drive the costs of rebuilding up a lot, significantly.
And remember, while paying more each month for stronger coverage may be a hard pill to swallow, it could save you heartache down the road.
If you're looking to save money in the short term and you're not looking for the long term, then you're probably at some point in time you need to be prepared to be stung.
Mallory Anderson, KRDO News Channel 13.
A tough lesson for so many people there. I think half the people watching are now marking their calendars, call the insurance agent to find out, right?
For sure.
United Policyholders, a consumer advocacy group, says 2/3 of U.S. homes are underinsured for a total loss.
The insurance expert we talked to says there are some ways to find more money in your policy should you lose your house in a fire. We have those details on our website, krdo.com.